Love, love, until I hear the breath of the Spirit blowing in me.
Hello and welcome to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich. Our guest today is Terence Price, who is a professor in agriculture and now he's retired. He's also a Catholic layperson, very, very involved in Mary's messages in Medjugorje. So we're going to be discussing her messages. Welcome to the program, Terry.
Thank you, Mirella. It's been a pleasure to be with you again.
It's good to have you back again.
Thank you.
Today we'll be discussing the latest message, which came out on the 2nd of March 2015 from Medjugorje, which is from Our Lady Queen of Peace. Our Lady said, I'll read it first and then we'll discuss it line by line as we usually do. Dear children, you are my strength, my apostles, who with your love, humility, and silence of prayer are making it possible for one to come to know my Son. You live in me. You carry me in your heart. You know that you have a mother who loves you and who has come to bring you love. I am looking at you in the Heavenly Father, your thoughts, your pains, your sufferings, and I offer them to my Son. Do not be afraid. And do not lose hope, because my Son listens to his mother. Since he was born, he loves, and I desire for all of my children to come to know that love. I desire their pain and misunderstandings. I desire that all those who left him because of their pain and misunderstanding may return to him and come to know him. That is why you are here, my apostles, and I as a mother am with you. Pray for the firmness of faith, because love and mercy come from firm faith. Through love and mercy, you will help all those who are not aware that they are choosing darkness instead of light. Pray for your shepherds, because they are the strength of the church, which my Son left to you. Through my Son, they are the shepherds of souls. Thank you. So it's a beautiful message. We'll start with the first sentence. Dear children, you are my strength. Our Lady is giving us a responsibility here. She's saying, it's not just up to me. You have to be my strength. You are my strength by living her messages.
Yes, I think she's dependent on us and to give us the strength to acting on our messages because it's like an army and I believe we are part of her army. So if you have an army with soldiers, the more soldiers you have, the more strength you have. So that's how I think when she says you are my strength.
That's it.
And if you say I'm part of her army,
yes.
So I on my own don't have enough strength, but when you have a whole battalion, that's very strong, right? And that's what I believe the message says when she says, you are my strength,
and
so we belong to her army.
This army doesn't fight, this army prays and loves.
That's right, it's a spiritual army.
Our Lady also said, you my apostles who with your love, humility and silence of prayer are making it possible for one to come to know my Son. That really struck me in the sense that sometimes you feel like you need to say something, you need to do something to help someone, but sometimes it's not that. It's just to have love, to have humility and silence of prayer. That way others will come to know Jesus. To me it's a really powerful one, because sometimes you feel you've got to do, but this silence of prayer can make a difference.
And I think sometimes you can show you're a Christian by being silent. And if you look at Jesus, he was silent when he was condemned to death. Right? He didn't speak out. But basically, you think of all those who observe the person. And in that same way, we can become the apostles that she wants us to be.
Exactly. Beautiful. He led the example for us. You live in me. You carry me in your heart. So here she's saying that we actually live in her. We are carrying her heart. There is a connection. Sometimes you feel like you're praying but there's no connection. But it's so beautiful to get these messages to reassure us we're on the right path. We do live in her. She carries us in her heart.
Yes, I think we have to be united with our Blessed Mother to be in her heart.
Yeah.
And she always says, I want you to consecrate yourself to my Immaculate Heart.
That's right.
Right? So part of being in her heart
That's right, yeah.
means if we really want to be in her heart, we say, Mary, I consecrate myself to you.
That's
Jesus,
right.
I consecrate myself to you. So that way we really become united to her through that consecration prayer.
Do you do the actual consecration prayer? Because it is actually a formal consecration prayer. Or do you just say, I consecrate myself to you in your heart, Mary?
Well, you can use it briefly like you just said.
Yeah.
But Our Lady dictated a consecration prayer to Yelena.
Yeah.
And you can get a little card with that prayer on it.
Yeah.
So I've actually got it in my prayer book at home.
That's right.
So every morning, because it takes a long time to memorize it. It's not a short one.
I've got that one too.
Right? And sometimes if you have no time, you can certainly say like you said, Jesus and Mary, I consecrate myself to your two hearts.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're still, it's an act of consecration.
Exactly.
It is an act.
Yeah.
So you have to do something.
That's right.
And I think I like doing that in the morning.
Yeah.
Because that's the one she asked us to do.
After morning mass, that's what we do too.
Yeah.
I do too. You know that you have a mother who loves you and who has come to bring you love. So here she gives us some reassurance. You know you have a mother who loves you, who has come to bring you love. And if we're not feeling that, we need to concentrate on feeling that so that we do feel it, because she's actually said this. We need to really, really feel it and believe it for it to be true.
Yeah, because just like your mother loves you, my mother loves me.
Yeah.
But this is our Heavenly Mother, and she loves all her children.
Yeah.
And we're part of that, experience her love.
Exactly. And she says, I'm looking at you in the Heavenly Father, your thoughts, your pains, your sufferings, and I offer them to my Son. Well, that's a long one to talk about, so we might have to talk about that one after the break. But
Okay.
Yeah, we'll discuss that one after the break. Stay with us. We'll be back very shortly.
Blow till I hear but breath of the Spirit blowing in me. Blow, blow till I hear but breath of the Spirit blowing in me.
Hello and welcome back to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich. We're here with Professor Terry Price, who's a Catholic layperson very fond of what's happening in Medjugorje, where Our Lady Queen of Peace has been appearing since 1981, June the 24th, and still is today. Welcome back to the program, Terry.
Thank you, Mirella.
And before the break, we were just reading from Our Lady's message from the 2nd of March 2015. We're reading it sentence by sentence if you've just joined us. Our Lady said, I am looking at you in the Heavenly Father, your thoughts, your pains, your sufferings, and I offer them to my Son. So Our Lady is saying, I can see everything that you're going through and I'm offering them to my Son. You're not alone. You're not alone, to really hang on to that.
No, I think she's conscious of the pain and suffering we have.
Yeah.
And, she's always presents them to Jesus.
Exactly.
And I think we've got to sort of have hope because, she's there with us.
Exactly. She says, do not be afraid and do not lose hope, because my Son listens to his mother. So there she's saying, don't worry, my Son is listening to me and I'm asking him to help you.
Well, that's right, because, Jesus always listened to his mother. The first miracle was when she said, they have no wine.
Yeah.
And she said to the people, do whatever he tells you.
Yeah.
So he's always done
Yeah.
and responded to his mother's asking.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so powerful to go through Our Lady,
Yeah.
because she asked on our behalf.
That's beautiful. She's also a beautiful example of a mother, how to be a mother. Since he was born, he loves, and I desire for all of my children to come to know that love. So if we love like Jesus, one way we can love like Jesus is by trying to see Jesus in our neighbour.
Yes.
And just see what comes. You don't know. It's so many beautiful stories. Once my friend said, She was having problems with her marriage, really hard problems. They were breaking up and everything. And I said, just try and see Jesus in him. And she said he never went near her or anything. And then when she did that in that moment, he just touched her arm. She just noticed a difference in him, because he was aggressive before. But then he sort of got gentle and just touched her arm when she tried to see Jesus in him. It does change lives.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Jesus always said. You got to look and see Jesus in your neighbor, in your enemies, in everyone else.
Yeah.
And it's not easy, right? Especially if you've gone through hurt, and you want to sort of curse and blaspheme instead of saying, "Oh, there's Jesus in that person. There's Jesus in that leper. There's Jesus in that outcast."
Yeah, that's
and
where
like
the
you
magic
said,
happens.
give them that love.
Yeah.
Show them the love of Jesus through your love.
Yeah. I desire that all those who left him because of their pain and misunderstanding may return to him, and that all those who have never known him may come to know him. So some people, I spoke to someone recently and they said because of their pain, they stopped believing in God. But the thing with pain is we need to unite our pain with Jesus' pain. Even Mary has said it in one of her messages, unite your wounds to Jesus' wounds, and that's when the cure happens, the miracle happens, things happen. We need to do that. And also, if we do that, embrace Jesus forsaken, we love him on the cross, we also get the joy later, but we have to actually go through the wound, and no one really wants to go through the wound, but if we do that, we come out the other side if we do it with the spirit of love and compassion with Jesus.
Yeah, I agree with you entirely on that, what you said, because sometimes people are in pain and they're wounded and they're hurting. And like you said, if you look at Jesus and his corpus on the crucifix and then say, well, look at him, and he suffered much more pain than we do.
Yeah.
And then if we unite our suffering and pain with his, and he says, give me all your burdens, I'll take it off you. So, I think we have to say, all right, I'll give it to you. Right, you deal with it.
Exactly. Sometimes it's to make the step. Sometimes you don't feel like it because you are in your own pain and wound, and you just think, how can I love Jesus forsaken when I'm in so much pain? But even the act of will, even if you try and mentally do it, it has a huge impact. And later on, you wonder why you're laughing and smiling again. You think, gee, like half an hour ago or an hour ago, I was like in a completely different place, and now I'm such a different place.
That's right.
Beautiful. Okay, that is why you are here, my apostles, and I as a mother am with you. So she's just said it. That's why we're on earth. We are on earth for that, to love Jesus in our pain, to love Jesus in our neighbour, to receive Jesus in the Eucharist. It's a beautiful message. Pray for the firmness of faith, because love and mercy come from firm faith. So we want to have firm faith because that's how we have the ability to have love and mercy for others.
Yeah, because I think, again, what she's saying is that you must have mercy with love. And you have love and no mercy, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Right? It's like when, I think a few days ago, in the Gospel of the day, there was Jesus talking about this Pharisee and this tax collector. And the tax collector, the Pharisee said, well, here am I, and I've done this and this, and paid my tithes. And the tax collector said, be merciful to me, Jesus, for I am a sinner. So that act of mercy, he got, because he asked the Lord for mercy.
Yeah.
And he got love as well.
Yeah.
So, the two go together.
Exactly. And I think when you do love, you do have mercy for the person, because you try and see them through God's eye. You see their pain, their suffering,
Yes.
when you love them in that way. It's sort of, they come together. Like with love, I think everything comes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Jesus is merciful love.
Yes.
Yeah.
Through love and mercy, you will help all those who are not aware that they are choosing darkness instead of light. Pray for you. Oh, we'll just leave it at that one for the moment. Yes, so through love and mercy, you will help all those who are not aware they are choosing darkness instead of light. I remember once I had someone who was involved in another group, and they were the religious group was all about hell and brimstone and fire, and it was all on the negative side. It was still Christian, but it was all based only on the negative. It wasn't based on God, who is love, and loving Jesus forsaken and going beyond the wound. And I remember once I just thought, how can I help this person? And I asked my friends, and they said, just love him, keep loving him and loving him and loving him, and listen to him. So I did, and eventually he talked himself out of it, and he had so much peace in the end. But we'll continue with that on. We've got to go to a break. You're watching Spirit of Life. Stay with us. We'll be back very shortly.
Till I hear but breath of the Spirit flowing in me. Love, love, till I hear but breath of the Spirit flowing in me.
Hello and welcome back to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich. If you've just joined us, we're here with Terry Price and we're discussing Our Lady Queen of Peace's messages from Medjugorje, the latest one on the 2nd of March 2015. And Our Lady has been appearing in Medjugorje since 1981, June the 24th, in a little village in Bosnia-Herzegovina called Medjugorje, and still is appearing there today. Welcome back to the program, Terry.
Thank you very much.
And before the break, we were reading the last, towards the end of the message, where Our Lady says, through love and mercy you will help all those who are not aware they are choosing darkness instead of light. And I was giving an experience where I was trying to have love and mercy for someone who was in a different Christian religion, but they were, it was all really focused on the negative. And it was interesting because he talked for like 3 hours maybe, this is a few years ago now, 3, 4 hours, and then all of a sudden I just kept listening and loving and trying to see Jesus in him, and then he realised the time and he started to kind of snap out of it and laugh and think, oh gee, I really took so much time of yours to, say all this stuff. And you could see, and this was a progress as well, and then later on this person ended up leaving that religion and really did embrace loving and loved so much. He was already a very loving person as it was, but he really understood that love and peace, it's not just, because I said, as long as you're happy in your religion, and he said, it doesn't matter if I'm happy, it's the truth. And I thought, well, God is love, and God, when you love, you are happy.
Yeah.
So did you want to say anything on love and mercy?
No, I was going to talk about the darkness and the light.
Yes, okay.
Because certainly yesterday was the 4th Sunday of Lent, and in the reading of the Gospel, Jesus said to Nicodemus, the light has come to the world, but men who prefer evil, they prefer the darkness rather than the light. So those who do evil, they hate the light because they're in darkness.
Yeah.
And we have a responsibility to be the light and bring those who are in darkness out of the darkness into the light so they can face the light.
Exactly, and it's through our love and mercy that they'll come out of it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, we have to be the light so that they can also come out of that evil darkness into the light.
Exactly, because sometimes there's no way of, you can't change people, you just have to be an example, and you just have to be love and mercy itself.
And sometimes they can look at you and say, well, there's something about him or her. They seem to shine like a bright light. I want to be like them.
Yeah.
And you don't have to say anything. They just observe you and see something different.
Yeah.
And I think as Christians, many Christians, and especially right now where Christians are being persecuted in the Middle East, they're standing out. They're being the light for Christ.
Yeah.
Right? They're being the light.
They're being saints.
They are being martyrs. They're being saints. And I think, you have to ask yourself, can I do the same? Can I be the same light? That I'm not afraid, because I believe and Jesus is with me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really, exactly. We need to have such a strong faith and such a strong conviction.
That's right.
That God is love.
Exactly.
And He's only asking us to love. He's not asking us to hate. And with love brings happiness, it brings joy, it brings peace, it brings harmony in society.
Exactly.
In the whole world, in politics, in everything, it just brings peace.
Well, as St. John says, God is love.
Yeah.
And without love,
nothing functions.
That's right.
Nothing functions. Even on a practical level, on a psychological level, nothing functions unless you love.
Exactly.
Yeah, just hope the message gets out there. Our Lady says as well, pray for your shepherds because they are the strength of the church which my son left to you. And when she says our shepherds, she means our priests. We need to pray for the priests, to pray for really holy priests, and priests to be able to lead all the people to Jesus, which is their job, which is what they're here for. And to give them, that sort of prayer, respect, and help them.
Yeah, and I think especially here in Australia, I think we need more vocations to the priesthood and religious life, and so many of them are growing old, and they need our prayers, and so we have more vocations and more coming to serve the Lord. I mean, He calls many, and certainly those who are already priests, and they are overburdened with parish affairs, administrative affairs, and they're doing so many funerals these days, and they need that spiritual support from us. They don't need criticism, they need love, and they need our prayers.
Yeah, exactly. Because Our Lady goes on to say as well, through my Son, they are the shepherds of souls. So they have a huge job. They're the shepherds, they're the priests of all our souls.
Yeah, and the thing is that, like a shepherd, and I am an agricultural professor, the shepherd looks after his flock.
Yeah.
And Jesus is the shepherd, He looks after His flock.
Yeah.
Right? And He called the apostles to be shepherds in the same way. And these are the Pope, the bishops, and the priests. And their role as shepherds is to take us, to lead us to holiness, to lead us to God. Right?
That's right.
And so they've got to be holy themselves in order to bring us to holiness.
That's
so we
right.
have to pray, like you said, for holy priests.
Yeah.
Priests who are really strong in their faith and know that that is their vocation to bring the people to holiness.
Exactly. And
to
also
bring
have
those who are, like Our Lady said, who've fallen away from their faith, to bring them back, And I think at the moment there's a big move saying, come back, don't be lost. We are waiting for you, the church is waiting for you, Jesus is waiting for you.
That's right.
Don't be afraid to come back.
That's right. And just think, when you have the Eucharist, you receive the Eucharist, you receive Jesus every day. If you go to Mass every day, you receive Jesus every day. What could be more powerful and more peaceful and more beautiful than receiving Jesus every day in the Eucharist?
Well, He's the food of our souls.
Yeah.
Right? Just like you eat food every day for nourishment, we need to nourish our souls too.
That's right.
And His body and blood is the best thing ever.
Exactly. And Our Lady says that we are her strength, and we have to live her messages, and they are to have the Eucharist as often as possible, at least definitely on Sundays, but every day go to Mass if we can, to read the Bible, to pray the Rosary, pray with her heart. The Rosary works miracles in the world and in our lives. She said that in messages. And to fast, to do penance.
That's right.
She's given us the tools of what to do.
And especially in this time where we are at the moment, we're in the middle of Lent.
Yes.
And
so,
she's asked us to fast, and we need to try harder.
That's right. And pray the glorious mystery. She said to pray the glorious mysteries during Lent every day. That's all. We've come to a close. Thanks for coming on the program, Terry.
Thank you, Mirella. It's been a pleasure to be with you today.
Lovely to have you.
Thank you.
You've been watching Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich, and our guest was Terry Price, and he'll be back with us again next week. See you next week.
Bring it to birth and blow where you will. Blow, blow, blow till I be but breath of the Spirit.